with all the gender ideology stuff, most people don't know who John Money is.
Right.
Most people don't know who Alfred Kinsey is.
That's right.
Most people don't know the roots of this stuff. So they're repeating these ideas, and 99% of people who are repeating these ideas don't even know where they came from.
Exactly.
Right? These ideas and these writings were decades before they were even born.
Yes.
And when you really look into it, you're like, oh, this is not new. Mm-hmm. These are things that people
repackaged.
They've just repackaged it, and somehow through
They're regifting.
Yeah, and I'm glad that people are finally. I wish people would have sort of woken up more earlier, just like I wish they did during the whole pandemic era.
Well, you know what I mean, and this is my time to. What did you say earlier? I think you said you wanted to give me flowers, but I'm going to give you some flowers. How's that? The only people saying it were people on other platforms, on their Twitter, people like you that were starting up podcasts. In other words, it wasn't. Podcasting was around. I'm not saying it wasn't around, but for instance, I remember in 2015 when I was thinking, I'm beginning to understand what's going on now. Where can I hear people talk about this? Because I didn't really know what podcasting was. I'm busy. I'm a dad. Who has time to figure all this out? And then all of a sudden you start finding these voices. And then like, a few years back, probably in 2019 or something, I heard you on Ben Shapiro.
Okay, 2019.
When your book came out.
Okay, yeah, 2019.
Hard Truths.
Strong Advice.
Strong Advice.
Strong Advice. No, it's all good, yeah.
When that came out, and I'm like, who's this Zuby guy? This guy knows what he's talking about. And so it's so absolutely necessary that we had people like you guys, because everybody else is just like, I need truth tellers because I'm being lied to and I'm being gaslit. It's a form of gaslighting. Maybe that's not the best word for it. I'm not sure. When people just don't talk about the thing right in front of you, like we all see it. So gaslighting, of course, when people are denying it.
The Emperor's New Clothes kind of.
Yeah. Like you're just not even mentioning it. Yeah. And we all know it's here, and so so thanks for that. And now in America, what I think is one of the things happening that's wonderful is all of a sudden we're seeing that regime change. I mean, just this week, I don't know, I'm sure you saw, they're talking about firing a bunch of people on CNN, like Anderson Cooper. They're like, our ratings are going down. Everybody knows we've been lied to. We're just lied to all the time. And that's how you control people. You keep them stupid, uneducated. Then you feed them, the Pravda type. We're just going to give you the fake. It's a false reality. Mm-hmm. Then people are basing some version of justice on a false reality, which means they're perverting justice. Then you have and this is one of my big things I talk about all the time because I care so deeply about my faith. The church in America is very divided on this. You get a bunch of Christian pastors and leaders trying to force us to stand for, quote, justice, but I'm listening to them going, but this is all lies. It's not true what you're saying. But they keep doing it because almost like, yeah, but we want people to know empathy. We want them to know that we care about justice. And I'm like, yeah, but you're breaking the law of God when you pervert justice. Whether you think you're doing it for good or not, that is not the right thing to do.
I have so many thoughts on this.
Hit me, baby.
First thing on what you just said is, I always say that justice doesn't need a modifier. Mm-hmm. So when you hear someone talk about social justice,
putting a word in front.
They're up to something sketchy. The other thing I'll say when it comes to the churches and some of these leaders is, I think that it's sometimes is forgotten that cowardice is a sin.
Yes, that's good.
Because all of this is
I got so excited I just sprayed spit everywhere. I don't know if everybody saw it on the podcast. I hope you did, because now you know this is real. Go ahead.
Because all it is that's at the root of this is cowardice.
Yes.
That is what it is. People do know the reality, but they don't want the backlash. I empathize with that. I understand it. I'm not confused.
I feel it too.
I'm not.
It ain't fun.
No, like I get it. I think at this point, I've been just speaking my mind for so many years now that the only way I could get so-called canceled is if I stopped doing it and my own audience turned against me. That's what people expect from me at this point. Yes. And I've built my audience on it. So it's awesome, great. The incentives are aligned. But when I talk to other creative people or people in the world of business or just the normal person working a 9 to 5 or whatever it is, it doesn't matter whether they're high earner, low earner, everybody's got something to lose.
Yes.
I always remind people of this because people like to say, oh, well, Zuby, it's easy for you because, you know, you've got money and, you know, you don't have kids and this. I'm like, man, wait until I have kids. I'm going to be going harder. Right. But the thing is, having a job and having kids is normal. Most people have a job. Most people have a family. Right. I'm sure the people who were, you know, nailing Jesus to the cross were saying like, yeah, I don't really want to be doing this, but, you know, I'm just doing my job, man. You know, I got kids. I got a wife and kids to look after. Like, yeah, I know. Right. And that's.
I've literally never thought about that. Go ahead. Interesting thought.
It's not new. It's not new. Like,
yes.
Courage is a virtue because it's rare and because it's difficult. It doesn't mean that you have nothing to lose. It doesn't mean that you're not fearful. Again, 100% guarantee, you know, any fighter who steps into a ring, any soldier going to war, of course they're scared. They're as scared as you or I would be. But a firefighter running into a burning building, is a police, like, they're afraid.
Yes.
But the courage is doing what you know is right and what needs to be done.
Yes.
Despite the fear. And I think that if you're in a position, certainly of leadership, if you're a church leader, if you're anyone in a position of leadership, you can't be a coward.
Yes.
You have to be willing to stick your head out and you're going to be called names. You're going to get backlash. You're going to have people unfollowing you, sending you nasty messages. Like it's all going to happen. But who cares? Do it anyway.
Who cares? You know, I love that you said that. You know, I do think that there are some people that I know that I go, I don't know if they do see it. I think if they did see it, I think they have the courage. I just think they're not, you know, the Bible has this in the Old Testament, they call the sons of Issachar, right? The sons of Issachar were the people, they said they understood the times. They knew what to do. And they were sort of these, I don't want to say they were prophets necessarily, but they understood what was going on. One of the things for me in 2018, when you were coming on the scene then, I remember it was driving me crazy. And I kept having this feeling like, maybe I need to say something. But I kept going, no, I don't need to because I'm not smart enough. I'm not an academic. I don't know anything. I'm a rock star. I'm a singer. Shut up. Stay in your lane.
That's not my position here.
Yeah, stay in your lane, singer. It's just like we do with the actors with Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you see Julia Roberts doing this stupid ad where she's saying, you know, women, you don't have to tell your husbands. I'm like, maybe that's why you've been divorced like 10 times. But anyway, I'm like, stay in your lane. And I kept telling myself, stay in your lane, but I kept praying, God, raise up people to do this. Now, people were speaking out, but I didn't know who they were. Yeah. They were hard to find. I was saying, God, will you raise up people to speak truth? This is so evil. And I kept having this feeling in my heart, like God, almost like God was saying like, yeah, you're the guy. You're the guy. And I was like, no, that's not God. I know I'm not the guy. I'm a moron. I'm a singer. I got to stay in my lane. I'm not smart enough to know how to do it. This went on for 2 years. And I kept having this feeling like.
What do you think you were worried about?
It wasn't that I was worried. I was like,
just felt it wasn't your place.
I'm just not qualified. Like, who's going to listen to me? I wouldn't listen to me. If this singer for some metal band came out and started saying something, I probably would have been like, I don't know. Are you smart enough to have an opinion on this? It sounds political. And, you know, I was seeing what was going on, but I didn't understand that, as you said, we need everybody speaking up. And that's where the change comes. It's when you have the plumbers speaking up because everybody's a parent or everybody cares about the kids, or maybe you're in a community in your church, your synagogue, where you care about the community and you finally go, all right, I'm standing up too. I was more looking for I was like, oh, great, we got Jordan Peterson. We need a bunch more people like that. And I just didn't get it. And then finally when it hit me was 2020 when I realized, okay, I got to do it. But, you know, remarkably, lots of my Christian friends did not like it. And they were like, John, you need to stay in your lane. This isn't nice. You're coming across mean. You know, all the stuff you say, it's not fun. But thankfully, what I think is happening in America, enough people are beginning to raise their voices. And I think we're beginning to change the narrative because as we talked when I met you in September at I keep forgetting. I always want to call it The Resistance because that's my song.
Do you know why? I think it's because the website was Join the Resistance.
Join the Resistance.
But the event was called Rescue the Republic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reason they wanted us to come play is we have a song called The Resistance. Yeah. Everybody watching needs to go check out Skillet, The Resistance.
Do it.
So the Save the Republic one, whatever it's called. I forgot again, I'm ADD. The point is, Zuby, like we talked then, all of a sudden you're seeing this really big tent rise up.